Okay, cool. We're back. I hope you can hear me. Okay. Right, G-Shack, I can see you in both. Can you hear me all right? Yeah, wicked. Thanks, Magic Fan. Appreciate that. Sorry, I don't know what happened there. I was screen recording and it dropped off because I think I've run out of space on the recording device. So that might have been it. But yeah, let's get back into it. Let's get Matt back on. Hopefully, all this will be all good now. Wouldn't be Saturday without a few little, would it? Hello.
Hi, mate.
There we go. Yeah.
Was that you or was that me?
I think it was me because G-Shack dropped in the comments. He's like, I can't hear you. But the thing was, I was screen recording it and it dropped halfway through. So I think that might have had something to do with it.
I did switch to my iPad because I thought it might be the phone playing up with the AirPods, but
no.
Good to see you, man.
I'll take the rap for that one, mate. Yeah, that's cool. So
take the rap. Oh yeah.
Yeah, did you see what I did there? I like that. Cool. So yeah, Matt Shearer, UK Raptor fan. Probably, I don't want to offend anyone else by this, but the biggest Raptor fan that I know runs the UK Raptors fans account. That's probably quite a good indication as well. So me and Matt are going to talk about a few things today. But Matt, tell us a little bit about you. That's where you're from. How long you've been following the game?
Okay, yeah, my name's Matt Shearer. I'm from Plymouth and been following basketball probably since I was 14 when I started playing the game. Started off supporting the Bulls, and then eventually picked up the Raptors. You shared that Panini sticker album the other day?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. I picked up that Panini sticker album and everybody was supporting the Bulls, Magic, everything, Lakers back then. So I wanted to be a little bit different. So I picked up that sticker album and I saw I think it was on the first or even the last page of it. They had like the shiny stickers of the two expansion teams. So they had the Grizzlies and the Raptors. So I thought, right, I'm going to go with one of them. I've got Canadian roots and my family. So I thought, right, okay, I'm going to pick one. So I went with the one with the best logo. Cool. Obviously, that was the Raptors. And
good choice.
Been following ever since there. So I live in Plymouth. Same with Ben, who's we were old teammates. We used to play for Raiders under 18s together.
Cool.
And he's a big Raptors fan as well. We always used to post stuff on Facebook and stuff. I used to get people commenting about, why are you posting all this about Raptors? I'm not interested, sort of thing. Sooner or later, I was going to lose like Facebook friends that way. So we were around. I think we were watching a Bucks game, and that night they beat us. And we decided we'd see if there were any other Raptors fans around like us, because back then we were the only ones that we knew that followed the team. So that's where the Facebook group came from.
Okay.
So me and Ben don't watch the games together too much now, because whenever we watch them together, we lose. So purposely went the whole finals without watching a game together, because we thought, right, if we do it, we're going to jinx it. So
okay, cool. So it's a little bit of a curse thing going on then, is it? A little bit of a
yeah. So the Facebook group came about. I think it's like 2017. Where was it? Yeah, we started off all right. It's kind of like a small community, just as people that we kind of got to know, kind of a sense of like how we kind of got to know each other. Really, not really personally known, but just through a mutual interest of the Raptors for them. And it's steadily grown from that. I think we had 90 before the playoffs last year, just a small number. And that crept up to 400 when the finals were over. Kind of went down a little bit afterwards when Kawhi left. I wouldn't say we're a bandwagon team now. I was worried that sooner or later I'd see loads of people wearing Raptors shirts and stuff, but nah.
I think there'll always be some bandwagon fans, mate. It's just you probably get that with every sport. So it will explain the sport, but it's good that you've kept a lot of that following, and obviously it's not just dropped off again. Because I know the thing with you guys is you're pretty active. I mean, you use your Twitter as well.
Not as much as some of the accounts, but I work a lot. I just do the best I can. Really, it's hard to keep up with everything, but do the best we can. We got Josh on board now as well to help me and Ben out, and he's going to take on some of the writing, which is brilliant because I thought about it at some point, but I haven't got the commitment really, and my grammar's atrocious. So Yeah.
Fair play, mate. Yeah, and Josh, funny enough, like obviously Josh we just had on, he shared a little something that he'd been writing with me about a possible trade. And and he said to me, he goes, "It's my first article," and I was well impressed. And I know it wasn't even the finished thing, but what he'd written so far was brilliant. And one of the
Yeah,
things
I think that's the one that he said to me and Ben, and we were like, "Yeah, we love it." You know, for a first attempt at something, it was really, really well written.
Yeah,
and we were like, "Yeah, come on board, right on behalf of us."
that's wicked. That's good. I mean, that we know how it is with the social media stuff. That's how it all grows. Obviously, I joined NBA UK fans last year. I've met people like yourself. Obviously, you came. I've got to give you a shout out for travelling all the way from Plymouth to Birmingham for a Sunday night game, which didn't even include the Raptors. How long was it on the bus? About 7 hours or something crazy?
Yeah, it was about 7 hours, but we got to watch a bit of the game afterwards. So we were all like loitering around. Me and Josh finished it off.
Yeah.
Can't remember what it is. It was a big win, I think, that one. I can't remember what game it was.
I can't remember who you were playing, but yeah, it escapes. Yeah, one of the Hornets or something, was it?
I can't remember. Josh might be able to comment and advise on that. My memory's like rubbish.
Yeah, same, mate. That's called getting old, I think. I think we're both of a similar age, so
that
was a great night, though. So obviously it was good because it's like I said, we got to meet guys like yourself. So, so obviously, tell us more as well, because I know you've been...
Tom's comment.
What's Tom saying? That National Express journey. Fair play.
Megabus Matt.
Yeah, Megabus Matt. Yeah. So obviously you're a big fan of the Six. You've been for a long time. So you've been to Toronto and you've been a few times, haven't you? There's photos of you and Superfan Nav as well. So tell us about your trips that you've done.
Yeah, I've been over probably three times or something like that. Yeah, just got over, watched, watched some of the games. I chanced it really and messaged Nav on Twitter. Just said, "Look, I'm a big fan. I want to come over. Is there any possibility that I can go courtside and meet you?" And I just thought he would ignore it, you know, busy man or whatever. And he replied back and said, "Yeah, sure thing, come down."
Wicked.
Even to the point of it before the game, I was kind of like, "Nah, probably not going to happen." But yeah, sure enough, I got there. The security kind of stopped me to begin with. I said, "Oh, I'm here to see Nav," and he was there and come down. Yeah, he was really, really impressed the fact that we have like fans in the UK following the Raptors. And this was before the championship run. So I think this was 2017 I met him. And yeah, he was really impressed with that. And I was wearing a Corey Joseph jersey at the time. He was kind of expected I'd go either Lowry or DeRozan, but he was like, chose the hometown boy there. So it was good. Yeah,
nice touch, man. Nice touch.
Good trips.
That's cool. So obviously, I know you're in the final of the jersey bracket, yeah?
Oh yeah.
So that's coming tomorrow.
Thanks,
on
man.
our live. So yeah, obviously, Matt will say vote for Matt. I can't comment. I've got to stay neutral. But without giving us, so I know you're probably not going to show anything that you're going to showcase tomorrow. But I've seen photos of your jersey collection, and it's vast. So have you got a couple that you can share with us just for our last little bit?
Yeah, I've got. I think the best thing to start with is probably this one. This is probably one of the ones I hold dear. I wouldn't wear it anymore. It probably doesn't fit, but this is the one I got when I was like 14. This is the original Europe release of the Raptors jersey, and it showed 95 just to signify the year. No name on the back.
Yeah.
Which I was a little bit disappointed as a kid because I really loved the font on the back.
Yeah.
This is what eventually I got. And you know, we were talking about him earlier, Damon Stoudemire.
Legend.
Yeah. So I had to get this jersey. I really want the white one.
Yeah.
The Mitchell white one.
Yeah,
you can get it in the States, but I might need to speak to Mark on that one, see if he can hook me up. But yeah, the one that Lowry won at the championship parade, really want that one.
Yeah, that is a nice vest.
Oh yeah, so I got three old ones. Going back, Vince Carter.
Vince, yeah.
Big Vince fan. Even though he left, it was a bit bitter. You know, the way that he left as well. But yeah,
I think all is forgiven now, isn't it?
Well, some people, Ben might not agree later, but yeah, I can see why. You know, the way he left, you know, he could have done it at better times. You know, there was hints of him like giving opposing teams of tips of what play they were going to run next and stuff. That's just not on, so you can understand why. What else would I got here?
UK Chicago Bulls, aka UK Chicago Bulls, but also love the Toronto Raptors, has said there's got to be a Lowry one in there.
Yeah, what have we got? Oh, this one. These ones are cool. Now, this is the Chinese New Year ones.
Yeah.
Look at the font on that. That's cool. This is the previous year. McGrady.
T-Mac.
Not the biggest McGrady fan. You know, some people might be like, I've seen people saying putting McGrady in their top 10 Raptors of all time. I wouldn't agree with that, to be honest. Okay. He became big later when he came to the Magic. For Raptors, no, I wouldn't say he was all that, to be honest. This one. This one's good. Now, this is the first one. City edition.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, that one means I was watching. Well, I had more time for the social media side years back, and I came across all of a sudden on Fanatics UK this jersey released. And I knew it was soon going to be coming out, and I was quickly tweet about it. And no sooner than I tweet about it, they removed it. And basically, what they did was they leaked the jersey weeks before it even released.
Yeah.
And I tweeted it. Other social medias for Raptors got hold of it as well. It made like TSN, everything like that. So yeah, that all originated from one of my tweets, which was pretty cool.
Was that just being
I
online?
had to get it in, you know, the OVO colours.
Yeah, so that was just being online at the right time.
Yeah, exactly that. And obviously that one rings true with the latest
Fred
there, which is real nice.
You've had some. Your team's had some nice jerseys, man.
Yeah, and to think like back in the day, in '95, people didn't like that jersey at all. They hated it. Yeah. I know it was a question who is it? What did I say? Yeah, a lot of people, they just didn't like that jersey at all, and only kind of now people are kind of appreciating it for what it is.
Yeah, it's become a classic. Man. A lot of it's coveted. Those are well coveted jerseys.
Yeah, you know, and Jimmy needs to get his son the one because he really wants one, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Purple diamond.
I mean, also one of these, as well as the jerseys, I'm a big shoe fan as well, so I collect those. So I had to get these ones. So
nice.
Yeah.
Like
the Raptors edition Jordan.
Raptors edition, yeah. Nice.
Yeah, it's not the Drake version, but yeah. Still,
yeah, we haven't even talked about Drake yet. I've seen Drake pop up in the comments a couple of times, but we haven't really talked about him. But he's kind of the unofficial sixth man, isn't he?
Yeah, along with Nav. Yeah, he's done a lot for, you know, the championship parade is plane flying around the whole time. I don't think that did that well for the, you know, global warming, but it looks cool.
Yeah, true. It's grounded down.
I've probably done it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's wicked. Well, I wish you luck for tomorrow's jersey bracket final as well, mate. Because you've got an epic collection, mate. It's going to be a tough one to beat. We know that, but yeah, definitely one to everyone to watch tomorrow. So, Matt, thanks for joining us, mate. Much appreciated. Right, sorry about the.
Thanks for putting this together. This is brilliant. Some great guests. Thanks.
Yeah, pleasure, mate. And also, big shout out to you as well, because without you, some of those guests wouldn't be on. So, big shout out. Thanks, mate.
Right, man. Catch you later.
Talk soon. See you in a bit. Okay, cool. Right, so next up, thanks to Matt for that. And yeah, I've got to shout Matt out again because he's lined up some of these guests for us. So, the guys that, I don't know if you guys know, but the guys who run these fans accounts put in so much work. It's like Snowy last week basically did virtually all of our lineup for the OKC one. So big shouts out to all the fan account holders. Okay, next up, let's get Ben on the chat. Okay, I can see you, Ben. There we go. Let's add you in.
Hiya.
Hi, Ben. How you doing?
Good, thanks, Rich. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks, mate. Yeah, not too bad at all. Staying in, staying safe, all of that.
Yeah, I hope everyone is.
Yeah.
Interesting times.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I think it's been good for the content as well because we've been doing loads of stuff. So
yeah, no, it's been really good what you're doing.
That's good stuff. Thanks, mate. So,
everyone's got that little bit extra time on their hands.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I've been back in work for the last couple of weeks as well, so I had a bit of time where I was isolating because obviously, like, family was showing some symptoms. It was nothing in the end, so it was all good. But that was a time when I had loads of time on my hands. So trying to juggle it with work as well. It's been interesting, but we keep going, mate. We keep going.
Yeah, you're doing a great job.
Thanks, mate. So yeah, thank you for coming on today. Really appreciate it. So obviously, Ben, I know who you are, but introduce yourself for everyone else.
Yeah, thanks for having me. So my name's Ben Roper. I'm the other half of the NBA UK Raptors account. Shearer does much more than I do with that. He's relentless in his pursuit of Raptors fans in the UK. As he said, we kind of just decided to do it after a game against Milwaukee. And I've been involved with basketball, all my life really, and following the NBA since like mid-90s, as a couple of other people said.
Yeah.
And for me, I just got involved because I had family in Toronto as well, so they kept, they got me into basketball, which I never liked until my cousins came over, and then they just were sending me jerseys and stuff like that. So it was always the Raptors for me, really.
Excellent, that's cool. And Ben, tell us about your coaching. Tell us about your experience with that.
Yeah, so I coach a lot of basketball. I live in Plymouth, the same as Shearer. We played as juniors for Plymouth Raiders. I ended up coaching for them, coaching a number of their teams. Then I've been involved with regional programs in the southwest England, and then for national teams for England as well. So kind of around the time that Nick Nurse was involved with the national teams as well. So so I never met him, but I was around there the same time. Now I'm head of the Raiders coaching development for the junior section, and also a regional talent manager for Southwest. So I've been coaching for probably about 19 years now. So
fair play, mate. That's cool. And obviously that's a real good involvement to have in the game as well, especially over here. Because some of those players, you never know who you might land on. That might be that next GB NBA star. Who knows? So
yeah, potentially. Maybe maybe not from Plymouth at the moment, but we may get there. Yeah,
absolutely. Okay, so cool. Obviously, with your coaching background and all your knowledge, it would not make sense for us to not talk to you about Nick Nurse. So again, this is something we said we were going to talk about. So you're going to try and break down a little bit about why the success happened last year, and obviously what you think might happen with some changes to the squad, anything like that. So this comes to the point where I will keep quiet and I will hand over.
No, I think we've got to remember we're talking about the coach of the year for this year, Nick Nurse.
Yeah.
I think me and Shearer were talking about it, and it was kind of like when he first joined Nick Nurse, we were kind of like, Nick Nurse, really? Like the guy who used to coach Manchester Giants, the guy who used to coach London Towers, the guy who had Rodman at Brighton Bears after Rodman finished in Big Brother, and we're like, is this really the guy that we really want? But as our group has a saying, it's in Masai we trust.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of it was obviously the right decision. The guy's shown that he's clearly capable, and it kind of reminds me just being around like the GB programs when he was coaching at the Olympics. I spoke to a coach who's involved with the GB Futures program which was the best under 23s at the time, which was coached by Nick Nurse and Chris Finch.
Mm-hmm.
And he was saying that these guys, like every night, they're just going over plays and they're giving each other scenarios and things like that, and they're just coming up with these amazing plays. So the guy was always destined for greatness, and I think it's down to his work ethic. And he kind of it goes against, in the NBA, it's probably a bit of a coaching carousel. It's the same old coaches tried and tested maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of broke the mold of that. And that was really kind of, it's very impressive what he did. And he kind of has this thinks a bit different to the NBA. He kind of thinks outside the box. There's he was running a box and one in the finals, a zone play, which everyone was just like, what's this guy doing? And that was obviously real key at that point in the game to kind of stop Steph Curry. He had this year he ran a press against the Mavericks, which teams just don't do in the NBA. We came back from 30 points down. I think we were down 26 points with 40 seconds left in the third, and we come back to win the game. He's just kind of it's been really impressive that he comes in there and he thinks differently, and he kind of thinks outside the box, and he has a fresh pair of eyes, which is really what we needed after Dwayne Casey. We needed something. We needed something new, needed something fresh, really. So I was impressed. He's kind of we share the ball really well. I know someone said what was it? The guy at the beginning said about having Antonio Davis. I love Gasol, and I think he was really, really important for us last year because just the way the ball moves side to side, and Gasol's such a great passer of the ball. For me instantly, he's one of the best Raptors that we've had. It's great, and Nick Nurse has just done a really good job of getting the teams. There's such a culture there, especially we've seen this year. There's such a culture in that team. They work so hard. Players are ready to step up. It's next man mentality.
Mm-hmm.
We've got people like Terrence Davis, Chris Boucher, who come up and play big minutes, and then the next game they maybe don't play that much at all either. So it's just I just think for a rookie head coach to kind of cultivate that sort of culture in the first year, which we were missing under Dwayne Casey, it's just been really impressive.
Yes.
And Shearer's just put in about Fab as well. Fab Flanoy, the Newcastle coach, has now gone over to coach with the Raptors. So,
cool.
Yeah, he's kind of like maybe the next coach will come out of Britain as well.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, I mean that's it. I mean, I think with last year, obviously everyone was talking about the Raptors and Kawhi, and they say, oh yeah, you take Kawhi out that team, but you didn't need to do a lot of diving into stats to see that the Raptors were good when Kawhi wasn't playing as well, because obviously he's got his load management thing. And like that, for me, like if I was a Raptors fan, that must grate a little bit that you just like everyone sort of writes you off. Kawhi goes, and it's like, oh, like I can't remember, it might have even been Skip Bayless potentially. He said, oh yeah, the Raptors won't even get in the top 8, and I was like, look at the numbers without Kawhi. Okay, yeah, Danny Green, there's a few changes, but like a lot of that core was still there and still healthy, and where we were, Raptors were second in the East. I'm pretty sure, yeah. Just shagging the Celtics, I think, for third. So yeah, they were second, and it's just.
Yeah, I think like you're absolutely right. Like we were written off at the start of the year, and I think ESPN didn't even have us in the top 8, and it's like really, like that's just we, like as you said rightly, like the team last year, we showed that we could play without Kawhi. Now, could we be a championship team without Kawhi? We were gonna find out. But look what Nick Nurse has done this year. We're second in the East. We've lost a Finals MVP. We lost Danny Green as well, and it's that next play mentality. We've got people like Terrence Davis. Norman Powell has kicked on this year, where really probably was at a bit of a crossroads with his career last year. It was a bit up and down, and he's had injuries as well. But and that's the thing. Injuries are the big thing that just sings about our season. I think we've lost the third most games to injury this year, and Nick Nurse has managed to get us on pace to have an even better record than last year.
Yeah.
Would that have translated into winning a finals? Who knows? I'd love to find out. Yeah, but exactly. The team plays so hard, and it's just like you watch that team and you just see the culture.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying, 100%. It's like Jimmy's put Toronto get too much disrespect, and it does go back to that. I mean, you need to watch Raptors games to see what they're about. I mean, you need to do that with any team, obviously, as well, because it's easy for a lot of people to look at standings, look at box scores, but you've got to see how they play. And I think it comes back to a lot of stuff you talked about, Nick Nurse running stuff that people don't do, and just getting the results that way. So, you must find it interesting because I'm tactically, when it comes to basketball, I love watching it, but I don't. Like, my brain doesn't compute into the whole tactics and creating plays. You couldn't sit me down and say, we're 2 down, there's 4 seconds on the clock, give me a play that will win the game. I'd just be like, yeah. You know what I mean? So with your coach experience, watching him do stuff like that must be pretty impressive.
Yeah, it is. One of the things I say about Nick Nurse is he simplifies the game so well. Like the team, I think Durant kind of criticised him like halfway through this year, saying, Nick Nurse is he's a good coach, but he's not a great X's and O's coach. But for me, he is a great X's and O's coach because he puts his team in a position to win by doing things simply. He gets his players, he understands his players, and they're in the roles that they're capable of doing. And I think that's probably Masai has a bit to play with that as well, because there's this they look for players for playmakers, but everyone can shoot, everyone can score, but it's Nick Nurse's job to kind of get everybody to kind of buy into the team sort of culture. But one of the things for me, I get to watch loads of basketball games, and sometimes just watching the NBA, especially like when me and Matt just sit and watch it, although as he said, we kind of watch games and sometimes we do lose more often than we win when we watch it together, so we did not watch the finals together. It's nice to just sit and watch it, but it is Nick, you can see that and I think that's part of what I mean by playing hard, is that the guys are doing things every single time down the floor that you don't quite often get from NBA teams in the regular season. They kind of pick it up ready for the playoffs, which I think is another thing that he's kind of would be interesting to see, is when everybody else steps up the level of pace, are we still at that high level? But then that's one of the things that we didn't have with Dwayne Casey. He never changed things when things were going wrong, and that's the great thing about Nick Nurse. And kind of for me, going into the playoffs last year, I was not confident because I thought I was used to Dwayne Casey, when things go wrong, it was just like, well, we'll keep doing what we're doing, you know, and try and do better. And Nick Nurse, he's just always changing things on the fly. And I think that probably that the experience he had coaching here in Europe and, you know, and Britain is, it's not like we don't have 82 game seasons and we don't have 7-game series. You've got to make adjustments in game on the fly now, because you might lose the game. And I think he's kind of brought that to the NBA as well, which, you know, for me is good, because and that keeps me on my toes as well. Is like when I'm watching it, it's like, what are the adjustments that he is making?
Mm-hmm. That's cool. It's interesting stuff. I mean, I really appreciate you coming on and talking about that as well, Matt, because we've not really had anyone come on before and talk to us about the coaching side. Like I said, tactical stuff for me is, I do try and understand it, but it's really interesting to talk to someone who knows exactly what they're talking about, and can translate it as well to a level where you're talking about a coach of the team that you support as well.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So Ben, just one quick question for you before we finish. Who's your favourite ever Toronto Raptors player?
That's a good question. So yeah, I'm probably, as Shearer said, I'm not in the Vince camp as much as maybe others are. I think for me, probably it's Kyle Lowry.
Cool.
It's you know, I think he embodies what Nick Nurse wants to bring to a team. Like the guy, and look at the career the guy had. And for me, coming out in that game 7, like he'd always been he had not played well in the playoffs, and we kind of had lived or died with him and DeRozan, and they hadn't been great playoff performers. And to come out and not game 7, game 6 it was, and just go, do you know what, let's score like so many points in the first quarter and go, do you know what, we're winning this. It just, I think he stepped up to another level that I didn't see him having.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, for me, I just think he kind of embodies everything it took to drag Toronto to be a championship team, which, you know, when I started supporting Toronto, even people probably supporting Toronto last year in the playoffs, you know, if they jumped on, you probably didn't think that we were going to win it. But, you know, I just think that he, you know, I just think he embodies everything that it took, the journey that it took for us to be NBA champions.
Absolutely. And I think the thing is, he's not got loads of fans. He's got fans, obviously, but the bottom line is Kyle Lowry, NBA champion.
Exactly. And that's it. NBA champion.
I think of the people who don't have rings, and Kyle Lowry is an NBA champion, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, Ben, massively appreciate you coming on with us, mate. It's been
thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Sam, we'll go around we're going to try and do all the teams, and then we can try and come back to Toronto whenever we get round everyone. So it'd be good to have you on again in the future.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Thanks, Ben. Take care, mate. Look after yourself.
Yeah, you too, mate. Cheers.
See you.
Bye.
Cool. Right, that was wicked. Thank you, Ben. I really enjoyed that. Next up, so I do apologise for running a little bit behind, but that is my fault for what happened in the middle. So I'm going to get a very, very special guest up now, which Mr. Matt Shearer arranged for us. And I'm just going to find him in here. Here he is. Right there. Mr. Mike Tuck, how are you?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
I'm not too bad, thank you. Not too bad. You looking after yourself and staying safe and doing all the things that we're being told we should do?
Bored, man. Bored.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wish I was a high-paid NBA player with a basketball court in my house, but unfortunately that's not the case. So I've picked up running every day, which is a new challenge for me and pretty boring. But yeah, just hanging in there, man, laying low. Just waiting for all this to blow over. Obviously, it hit us in the middle of our season, which was, you know, unfortunate. And it just sucks because we're probably not going to be able to finish this season and finish what we started with a good group of guys that we had on the Sheffield Sharks. So, yeah, it's just one of those things, man. So we're just hanging in there.
That's it. I mean, it's difficult times for everyone, is it? I think the important thing is that we just have to try and do what we can to stay safe. And like you said, you've adapted, you've taken up running. I mean, I can't run more than about 500 meters because my knees just start to fold inwards. But
well, that was me, man. But now I'm like, you know, I'm picking up on it and it grows on you. So, but I mean, I got to say that I wanted to thank you for having me on, man. Absolutely love your channel, and big shout out to Matt Shearer as well for reaching out to me. Every time we go down and play the Plymouth Raiders, I would always see a guy sitting in like the 3rd or 4th row with like a Raptors hat on. Yeah. I always used to like hit him up and be like, "Yo, Raptors!" Like that's my squad. And I didn't realize it was him until, you know, he added me on social media and stuff like that. So, but big shout out to you guys for starting these channels and doing these things, because it helps the culture grow, and that's what the UK needs. I mean, obviously, basketball is kind of like a minority sport here, but with channels like yours and Matt's and all the different NBA teams and BBL teams around the country and in the UK, it really helps the culture grow and helps the sport grow. And I think, you know, it's my favorite sport in the world. I love it to death, and I want other people to have that same journey.
Thanks, Mike. Really appreciate that, man, because we all love it. I mean, like I said, you probably saw me say earlier, I got invited to join NBA UK fans last year by Dean and Bryn, who run the channel, and it's been hands down one of the greatest things I've ever done. Like the people I've met, the enthusiasm is like, I grew up watching football, okay? So people like football. What I like about basketball is we got a load of people together who support all different teams, and all they want to do is sit together, have a drink, or not have a drink, depending on your preference, talk about basketball. When you go down football every week and there's two groups of people who just want to kick each other's heads in, like, so it is totally different. It just, I use this thing, I say this thing to people all the time, basketball unites, and it really does. I mean, the culture over here is growing, it's getting better. I mean, obviously the Sky coverage is helping because it gives people the accessibility.
Yeah.
Obviously the socials as well. I mean, our socials are blown up recently. The Instagram's flown up as well. But again, thanks to people like yourself for coming on, because that people want to see it and people love the fact that it's going. So
yeah,
I know we were going to talk about as well, because you did a podcast with Tracy Murray. Is that right? Is that
yeah? On Thursday night, I've got a buddy in Toronto that hosts a podcast, and he asked me on, and it was going to be like kind of a basketball themed one. So he knows Tracy, and so Tracy was on, so I got a chance to talk to him, and it was just interesting because obviously it all lines up with the Last Dance documentary that's going on now. And you know, we were talking a little bit about, you know, the 95-96 Bulls that, you know, were the 72 win, you know, arguably the best NBA team of all time, and the Toronto Raptors beat them that year. They were one of the 10 losses. And you know, me being a kid growing up in Toronto, I remember that vividly, and like it's a huge moment in Raptors history. Some would say, you know, maybe one of the biggest, maybe the second biggest game after, you know, the championship last year. And just getting his insights on everything was super interesting. The game was at the Sky Dome, which is a baseball arena. Mm-hmm. So back then, before they moved into the Scotia Bank Center, which used to be the ACC, they played at the Sky Dome, and it was just like super awkward because they had to like pull up a stand on one side, and you had like these multiple levels of just. But they said for that Bulls game, because obviously it was such a charged up game, there was 36,000 fans there. So like one of the biggest, most well-attended basketball games in NBA history. And talking to Tracy, it was awesome because I think he had like 24 and 12 that game. So he was just on fire.
Yeah.
And he's just saying that the Raptors were a team that kind of gave him a chance. He had kind of bounced around. The year before, he was on the Rockets with Hakeem and Kenny the Jet, and they had just won a championship. And then the next season, obviously they did the expansion draft, but they had protected him, so they had held him in, and then he couldn't get picked. So and then they didn't even sign him. The Rockets didn't even sign him. So here he was kind of between a rock and a hard place. And then Isaiah Thomas reached out to him and said, you know, you want to come up here and play. And it was super just interesting to talk about those first few years of the Raptors, because obviously I was a kid growing up and I was diehard, but like the constraints that they had on them back then, like the expansion draft before that, when they brought in like Orlando and Charlotte and all those ones, Orlando had like huge success early because they didn't put any restrictions on them. So the NBA in this expansion, they put major restrictions on them. The first 3 years they were there, they couldn't have the number one pick. Their salary cap was like cut in half. So like they were setting them up for failure. And obviously you look at the Vancouver Grizzlies, like they failed because of these things. But that game against the Bulls, I think, in my opinion, and Tracy said this as well, is that was one of the games that kept them in the league, that kept them going. You know, I think there was a couple of things early on, signing Damon, getting Damon Stoudemire, and then him winning Rookie of the Year. And then that game, and then getting Vince, and Vince winning Rookie of the Year, and then in turn Vince winning that dunk competition. I think those were all the kind of little significant moments early on in the Raptors' history that set them up to stay in the league, and it helped build the basketball culture in the city in Toronto, because Toronto and Canada, you know, traditionally like football to England, it's hockey. Like
Hockey,
it's all hockey. And when basketball kind of showed up there, everyone was kind of skeptical, and you didn't. The media coverage was really small, and you weren't seeing a lot of games. And even before that, like seeing NBA games was super rare. Like you would only catch, you know, playoff games and stuff like that. So it was super interesting, picking his brain about everything. And really back then, like the 90s, like I'm a vet. I'm like an OG in the BBL. And you know, I always think that you know, the young guys coming in now, you have to respect the vets, because you help build something that, you know, that these guys are a part of now. And I you know, my hat goes off to Tracy, because he was part of that first squad to help build that culture in Toronto. And ultimately, you know, without him and without those other guys, you know, there might not be a Raptors. They might not be a championship. So
yeah.
But those restrictions they put on us, like the next year in the draft, the 96 draft, we got Marcus Camby. Yeah, but we had actually won the first pick, but guess who went first that year? Iverson. So like, imagine us drafting Iverson in 90. Like the path could have been so different, but I think everything happens for a reason, right? And that's why we got Vince. And I know you guys were talking about it earlier with the Carter effect, and like, it's everything in that movie is so true, because I was there and just I witnessed it, you know. And you look, you know, 20 years after he gets drafted, we got, you know, 2 Canadians drafted first round picks. So like the influence that he had, particularly on Toronto and the high school basketball situation there, and the prep school scene and the AU scene, and all those kids coming up, the development of basketball in Canada, I definitely put down to the Raptors and you know, Vince for sure.
Yeah, excellent. I mean, this year's draft, we had a Canadian going third as well, didn't we? RJ Barrett, who coincidentally shares my exact same name and initials, but I don't know what his first name is. So, yeah. I mean, basketball in Canada, been culminating in last year winning a chip. I mean, I'll take my hat off to Matt Shearer. Obviously, we were approaching the finals last year, and we asked some of the guys who were involved in the scene just to give us a little predictions video. And Matt, fair play to him. He came on, his room covered in Raptor jerseys, and he was like, Toronto in 6, mark my words, it will happen. So we revisited that. But yeah, it was, I mean, even from a neutral, well, I say a neutral point of view, obviously I'm a Celtics fan, but watching that last year, obviously with the ball dropping in with Kawhi's shot, getting to the finals, I mean, I didn't root against Golden State, but I wanted Toronto to win. It's not like it's not because I didn't want them to. It's because I wanted to see Toronto win it, because it was like a fairy tale. It was wicked. And
yeah, I think with the Warriors, it's kind of like Star Wars, and you know, like the Force against the bad guys. Like the Warriors, like, oh man, just getting sick of seeing them do it. And obviously, you know, KD going down was huge, and there was a bunch of different things that led up to it. But at the end of the day, they deserve that win, man. Yeah. And the way that Nick Nurse was able to pull that team together, and then obviously Masai Ujiri making those trades down the stretch, and getting Marc Gasol, I think was one of the biggest things. He really held the paint together, and defensively, like he's great. So yeah, I mean, for me, it was, you know, 25 long years, but and like this love affair with the Raptors, and the frustration and the pain that I went through, and it was all worth it just to see them take home the chip last year. And it's super unfortunate that we can't watch them make a run at it this year, because they had a good thing going on, second in the East, after Milwaukee, a team that they've proved they can beat in the playoffs, and you know, really doing it despite all odds, and after, you know, no hangover after Kawhi left, and able to keep it going. It's a shame, and you know, obviously right now we don't really know what's going to happen, but there's obviously a bunch of different scenarios that could happen. And talking to one of my guys who works in one of the NBA development programs, he was saying that they're potentially looking at starting the season back up in September, finishing in a playoff situation in September, and then pushing the league start till the next year's league start till December, end of December, January. So that I mean, I could see that happening, but you know, as of right now, we don't know. And there's going to be all types of you know, spectator limits and capacity limits and things like that. So it's just a strange time, not only in basketball but everywhere. So hopefully this thing sorts itself out and we can start watching some basketball again pretty soon.
And playing as well for yourself, of course.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting sick of running every day, man. I need a basketball court.
Cool. Mike, I really appreciate you coming on, mate. It's been wicked talking to you, especially as a Toronto native. That's awesome for us. So I'm going to ask you one more question before we go. Okay, because I always like to try and put something interesting on the end. So Giannis becomes a free agent, as we know. There's rumours of Giannis going to Toronto. Where do you honestly believe he will be when his free agency comes up?
Well, I definitely think Toronto is in the running for him. You know, if you look at Toronto's salary cap right now, I mean, Gasol, Ibaka, Van Fleet, a couple other like the lower name like Hollis Jefferson and those guys, those are all expiring contracts. And then Lowry the season after that. They would have to make some big moves to get him. They would have to make some sacrifices to get him. Whether those sacrifices would be worth it, I think probably so, because Giannis is just like going from strength to strength every year. He looks like he's got at least another 10 years in the tank. Now it's all on Giannis's shoulders, obviously, and he's the type of guy who seems pretty loyal to me, and he's expressed that multiple times that, you know, he wants to stay in Milwaukee. He finds that home. But I think at the level he's getting to now, he needs a bigger market, man, to go and shine somewhere. The Raptors would be perfect. There's a huge Greek population in Toronto. It's a very multicultural city, so I think it would be like a great vibe for him. It would be, you know, completely different than Milwaukee. You know, it's like, which is probably a ghost town compared to Toronto. If not there, I don't know. I could see him going west, though. I could see him ended up in LA, like Clippers or Lakers, that type of situation. Even the Warriors, I know, have been making comments and making moves at him. So it's what kind of guy is he? Is he the guy who's gonna, you know, be that loyal guy, or is he the guy who wants to take over a new situation like in Toronto, or is he going to be the team up guy and go to like a team in the West that's already built and already established and just add a value to one of those teams?
Okay. I guess only time will tell, because we're not in Giannis's head, so he will make his decision, I'm sure, for the right reasons for him as well. So
that's it, man.
Thank you so much for joining us, mate. I wish you all the best. I hope everything gets back to normal for all of us and yourself as well. And
really appreciate it, man. Anytime.
Excellent. Well, we'll get you back on again soon, mate. We'll talk some more.
Sounds good, brother. Have a good one.
You too. Take care, mate. Thanks. Awesome. Thank you, Mike. That was wicked. I really, really enjoyed talking to Mike there. Okay, cool. We're running a little bit over. I don't think anyone's complaining. There's still loads of you watching, so that's cool. So I'm going to get on my final guest. Let's see if we have him here. I know he's got stuff to do later. So thank you for staying with us, Nathan. Hey, here he is.
Hey, what it do, baby?
Right, this is weird, right? Because normally it's me watching you in the top half, and like I'm the other way around. So this is kind of weird, but kind of cool at the same time. How you doing, bro?
Yeah, I'm cool, man. I'm just indoors, innit? That's all I can do. Staying indoors, chilling. Got my rum punch. I'm cool. I'm good.
Excellent. I've started drinking on a Saturday orange squash. Because the first couple of times, like, I was drinking beers and stuff, and I watched one of them back, and I was like, my eyes were like that. I was like, I don't even think I was drunk or anything. It was just one of them things. So, like, I've got to be honest, mate. Thank you for joining us. We know you're a massive Raptors fan, and your content. We're all about trying to do some content. Your content has been fantastic, mate. Absolutely brilliant. So yeah, for anyone who doesn't know you, I don't know how they couldn't. Okay, because. For obvious reasons, but just tell us a bit about you and what you do.
So yeah, Nathan Caton, stand-up comedian. Been doing stand-up for about 15 years now in the UK, and now going abroad doing other bits and pieces. Done bits of TV stuff, bits of radio. Yeah, I just get paid to just go on stage and kind of just chat crap for a living.
Well, you've got to be funny to do it, mate. And I know because I've seen you live as well. That's the thing. And Bryn will testify to this. But yeah, mate, you're a legend at what you do. We love
Thank you, bro. Appreciate that.
So, okay, cool. So what we're going to do is, for anyone who hasn't seen Nathan's football quiz, Nathan and I know you've done our basketball ones as well, so a few of the guys have had to go on that. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to switch it up, and I'm going to drop the quiz on Nathan. So what I need to do first, I just got to get Got to get my starter joke. Are you nervous for this?
Yes, bruv.
I bet 'cause the pressure's on now because normally you're the quizmaster, but
Exactly.
today
But
it's the other
Empire
way.
Strikes Back.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So, right, I have my trusty pad with my answers on. So I've got 2 games for you. So I'm going to do it exactly the way that you do it. So you get 90 seconds,
Okay.
and it's the starting lineups for each team. So what we'll do first, okay, I'm going to run it back to 29th of October 2014. Okay, because I know you've been a Raps fan for a long time. Okay,
The 14-15 season.
Yes, yeah, so 14-15 season, so the 29th of October 2014.
Yeah.
Toronto were at home against Atlanta, okay?
Oh,
and they
my
won.
gosh.
I know. Mate, there's some interesting ones in here. So they won 109 to 102.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to put 90 seconds on the clock and ask you to give me the starting 5 for Atlanta Hawks and Toronto Raptors from 29th of October 2014.
Oh, my gosh. Okay. DeRozan. Okay.
Yes.
DeRozan. Lowry.
Correct.
Who would have been center? Jonas.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, bloody hell. Gosh. Who else were in? Okay, 2014, 15. Ime Johnson.
Correct.
Terrence Ross.
Correct.
Oh, all right. Okay. Atlanta. Bloody hell.
You've absolutely smashed the Raptors, mate. You've got 55 seconds left as well.
Yeah, this is where it starts to go downhill badly. Atlanta in 2014. Oh my gosh. Who was Atlanta?
One of them's just gone back there, funnily enough. I don't mind giving you a couple of clues. He got traded back there from a team somewhere near Canada, but not in Canada.
Mate, that's nothing. Oh, mate.
Okay. You've got 20 seconds now. 20 seconds.
Mate,
I think either way, you've smashed the Raptors, mate, so no one can question your fandom at all.
Was that the Hawks in 2014? Carter. I'm just going to...
Mate, you gave me an Orlando Magic game. Right, okay, that is time. Okay. Fair play. DeMar DeRozan, Kyle Lowry, Ime Johnson, Terrence Ross, and Jonas Valanciunas. I think that's how you say it.
Mm-hmm.
So well done. 5 out of 10 on that one. That's good. So your Atlanta team was Kyle Korver.
Oh, okay.
Jeff Teague.
Oh.
Who's ended up back there.
That.
Paul Millsap.
Oh, I forgot about him.
Damari Carroll.
Oh.
And Big Al Horford.
Oh, Damari Carroll, one of us.
Okay. 5 is, as you would say, a respectable score. Okay. Right. So we'll move on to the next one.
Okay.
I won't let you catch your breath. So this one is a little bit more recent. Okay.
Mm.
So we've got Celtics at Raptors, Christmas Day 2019. So the Celtics emerged victorious, 118 points to 102.
Yeah.
Just get that little dig in there. So yeah, to Christmas Day 2019. Okay. You have 1 minute and 30 seconds starting now.
Okay, Lowry.
Yes.
Siakam.
No.
Okay, he must be injured. Gasol.
No.
Ibaka.
Yes.
Okay, Freddie.
Yeah.
And then okay, so who would have been forward? Anunoby.
Yeah.
And then I'm missing one last one. Who else? Norm? Did you play Norm? Norm Powell?
No.
Okay. Oh, forward. Holly Jefferson?
Nope.
Okay, so who have I got? I've got Lowry.
You got Lowry, Van Vliet, Ibaka, and Anunoby.
Okay, who the hell am I missing on the current roster? Terrence Davis Jr.
Multiple NBA champion.
McCall.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay,
35 seconds to do the Celtics.
Okay, so you had Tatum, Brown.
Yes.
Walker.
Yes.
Who else do you have playing for you guys? Oh, it's going to bug me now because I should know this.
20 seconds.
How long?
20.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I said Tatum already. Tatum, Walker, Brown. Oh man, who else am I missing? Oh, this is a good squad as well.
3, 2, 1.
Oh,
Time.
oh.
8 is good, mate. 8 is good, especially because when I looked at that Raptors lineup, I was like, they had some problems that day.
Mate, injuries have killed us this season.
Yeah. So now you got 8. So I'll go through it. So you got Freddie Van Vliet, Kyle Lowry, Serge Ibaka, OG Anunoby, Patrick McCaw, which that was a bit of a weird one for me. I was just like, yeah, fair play.
Yeah, Nick loved him for some reason.
Yeah. Then Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
And then he said Kyle Walker then. He's a footballer. Kemba Walker.
Oh, did I? Sorry.
No, I did. I nearly said Kyle Walker then. I was like, sort it off. That was your team. No, Jason Tatum, Gordon Hayward.
Oh, for crying out loud.
And Vanilla Daniel Tice.
Oh.
Yeah, that was quite a random one.
That's a curveball, man.
Oh, Nath, though, to be fair, 8 out of 10, as you would say, that's a solid score, that is, mate. So I'm impressed. You've done well. And you've had to have 2 goes at it. So, yeah, mate, obviously, we absolutely love the stuff you do on our account as well. I watch the football quiz, but it's like I said to you, I haven't followed football that well for a few years. So I literally have to get that lucky to pick, like, Manchester United versus Sheffield Wednesday in 1996. It's been really, really random to do it. So that's cool. But yeah, so anyone, if you're not following this man, Nathan Caton, you need to be. So
thank you, man.
Yeah. No, Nathan, thanks very much for coming on for us, mate. So yeah, I'll ask you as well, who is your favourite Raptor all time?
I will between Carter and Lowry, I will go Lowry because he's got the chip as well. You know what I mean? I mean, you can't argue against that, no?
No, you can't.
Show you ring, and that's it. Boom.
Kyle Lowry, NBA champion.
Exactly.
Well, I remember your video last year as well, when just the morning after the finals, we the champs.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Absolutely love it.
Oh,
so, yeah,
happy something ever.
Yeah, that's it, mate. Nath, love it. Thank you for coming on, mate. Always appreciate you. And yeah, we'll see you soon for some more of you being the quiz master, yeah?
All right, man. Cool, man. Take care, bro.
Excellent. Thanks, Nath. Take care, buddy. See you in a bit. Cool. Right, that's it. That is we've gone way over today, but obviously I had a little glitch in the middle, so I've already apologised for that. I'm not doing it again. Sorry. So thank you, James Goodburn, Josh Roberts, Matt Shearer, Ben Roper, Mike Tuck, Nathan Caton. Thank you to every single one of you who have come in and joined us. Thank you to all of you who've tuned in and watched us. I will try and screen record it before it drops off after 24 hours, and it will go on our new YouTube channel. So if you need to find that out, look on our Twitter or our Instagram. You should find a link to both there. Go and follow all of our guests today. Tomorrow we have the Jersey Bracket Challenge final. All right. So it's the Throwback Store versus Matt Shearer. Okay. So that's going to be lit. All right. So make sure you get into that. That'll be Dean hosting that for us, I believe. Or Bryn. I'm not sure. Should probably check that first. Yeah. Also, the Joe Hulbert Bracket Challenge is live on our Twitter. So make sure you go and look at the pinned tweet on Twitter. It's a cool little competition. You basically have to predict how you think the playoffs would have run if they'd happened. And funny enough, we do have a couple of people who picked the Raptors as champions, which is on topic. So, yeah, but again, just seriously, please, everyone, stay safe. Thank you for all your support, all of your love, all of your retweets, your likes, everything that you do to support the NBA UK scene. And we will see you again this time next week for an Orlando Magic special. Cool. So, yeah, thanks, everyone. Stay safe. Look after yourselves.